Good afternoon and happy Friday to you. We're trying something new with scheduling our streaming broadcasts. I've got some interesting stories to tell you and share with you this week. Good afternoon, it's Brandon Devnich from i3D Themes with this week's interactive number 68, where we share what we're passionate about. Oh, it looks like, yeah, it's coming up on the live stream. That's great. Love it when things work. And, I'm going to turn down my own audio here. There we go. Live. Ooh, my feedback. So where was I? So this is where we share what we're passionate about and making sure that all the input streams are working. And what we've been working on here at i3D Themes. So this week, okay, where should we start? Well, first of all, audio. There we go. First of all, in the Code Lab this week, we've been doing some more onboarding. We've been actually adding some new features into the Pegasus system. We've been tweaking different things. It's really been a great week for ticking off things in different checkboxes. We were able to sort of narrow in on a couple of things that we're going to be working on in the early part of January, different sort of frameworks and plugins that we know that we need to work with, and so we're going to be working on that coming the new year for the Pegasus WordPress plugin. So Pegasus is this plugin that we developed last year. It is an automated page speed optimization plugin for WordPress. Basically, it takes a look at all of the recommendations of Google PageSpeed and implements them. And by implementing these recommendations, it makes your WordPress website load super fast. And so when we were installing installing the plugin on a client's website, I said to the client, you know what? I think the hosting here is a little on the slow side. I don't like to knock anybody else's platform, but it just seems really slow. And I wanted to benchmark the load time for the server. And so, it's like, it has nothing to do with Accelerator or any sort of plugin that I put on it. This is before we've even turned it on. And so we said, one of the very first things you should do to make sure your website is loading fast is make sure your hosting is fast. If your hosting is super slow, it doesn't matter what you do to your page, it's still going to be slow. And so I said, well, I need to benchmark it. So let's go do a website speed check. So there are services out there where they can check the server response time and the time to first byte. And so I'm like, okay, go to Google, website speed test. First result was Pingdom. And I'm like, oh, I've heard that name before. Oh, I've been to Pingdom. I've checked websites with that before. I go to click on the link. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. What's taking so long? And click on the link again, because of course multiple clicks on that link is going to make it load faster, right? No, it doesn't. Don't ever do that. It just didn't load. So I backed up and went to the next link. I went to the competitor. Do you see the irony here? Doing a speed test. The website that I'm going to be doing the speed test with doesn't load fast enough for me. So I go to the next guy. And this is really what is, making sure that you have a fast website is all about. Because people are either going to bounce or they're going to click on the next guy because your website is too slow. So I use the next service. Funny enough, later on in the day, Pingdom was coming up super fast. So, they're a really big outfit. And they're probably just having connectivity issues. But it just goes to show that even if for a short period of time, if your website is really slow, you could be losing visitors. And this is really key if you want to be found in search as well, because Google is really only going to want to provide results for websites that are fast. If your website is not fast to load, they're not going to be showing you, in those top positions. So that's really important for you to look at. One other thing I want to share, which is totally unrelated to search, is that I got a brand new chair this week. I sit for 8 or more hours a day. I get up, once every hour. You really should be getting up once every half hour or hour. Stretch your legs, reheat your coffee, grab yourself a rum and eggnog, whatever it is that you want to do. You should get up and get the blood flowing. But for the rest of the time you're sitting, it's a lot of office chairs. They're just not built for support. And I don't know how many office chairs over the years I've gone through. And after a period of time, they're just, the arms fall off, or the padding is gone, or they just don't have good support. Or as with my last one, I was noticing that when I was doing my videos, I could hear it go squeak, squeak. So I said, because at the same time I was having lower back pain, it was time to go and investigate a new chair. So this is something I want to share with you. If you are sitting all day long, if you're doing web development and you're sitting, and maybe you don't have the best chair, if you can squeeze it through the budget, this is one thing that you should really look at if you can. It's called Core Chair. Okay, look it up, Core Chair. It's not a cheap chair. It's not an inexpensive chair either, if you catch my drift. This, you are getting what you pay for. It is an extremely well-engineered chair. It pivots. It engages your core. It's a little funny because it doesn't have a high back. You know, I'm used to sitting back in my chair. No, but yeah, I can do that. But my back is engaged properly. My core is engaged. In fact, after sitting in this for 15 minutes, I went to go back to my old office chair. And I'm like, no, get me out of this. This thing is awful. I don't know how I sat in this for so long, for months and months on end, day after day. So if you're in the market for a new chair, and you think maybe you can squeeze it through the budget, the one thing about them is that if you don't like it, you can send it back at their cost. So I think it's got a 2-month money-back guarantee. Also, it has a 12-year warranty. I don't know about you, but I've gone through a new chair every 3 to 4 years. Office chair. So that means that that's 3 or 4 chairs worth of, chairs that you're getting out of this, and it's got a fantastic warranty. So Core Chair, if you're in the market for that, or if you want to buy yourself a holiday gift. So that's me this week. Colin this week has been doing more investigation into different WordPress theme frameworks. Basically, he's going to be taking the next set of designs and flipping them into WordPress themes. We had been developing our designs into WordPress themes through a framework that we had developed internally, but because I've been so busy with the Pegasus project and with the Numo Accelerator project, I just haven't had the time to go and do the flippy dippy, convert it from a website template over to a WordPress theme. And so he's looking to do this himself, and I said, have you got any great insights to share with me? He says, they're all pretty bad. I'm like, well, that's really not so good. He has found one that he's leaning towards. But one of the things he finds out there is that the packaging is a whole lot prettier than what you get when you start to actually work with these frameworks. And I have to say that I've done projects for clients that insisted that they wanted a particular theme from somewhere else, and that's fine. And usually the development with those platforms is like 2, 3, 4 times as long as when we're using our own themes. Not just because we're familiar with our themes and our templates, but the usability is not really fantastic. But of course, this is Colin. If you were to work with Colin, he's all about usability. So if he picks a framework that he thinks he's going to work with, being able to use that framework and being, with our design that he's going to port into it, it should be pretty good, because he's not going to settle for anything less than like awesome, which is Colin, which is awesome. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you tuning in. We hope you've had a fantastic week. In fact, we hope you've had a fantastic 2017. We sure have. We've had a great time doing it as well. We've had a whole bunch of developments this last year, and we're looking forward to 2018 and working with you next year as well. So if you have any great holiday plans coming up here, hope you have a very happy and safe holiday. Otherwise, we will see you probably next week. I will check in next Friday, as I always do, on our weekly interactives, just to share what we've been working at. We are going to be taking a sort of a reduced week this next week. we're going to be spending time with friends and family over the holiday week, but we will be monitoring the scenario for any urgent support, as we always do. Anyways, thanks so much. We'll see you again next week.